Hey everyone, Once Bitten here with another battle report. So this is another one in my series called In Search of My Tournament List. I don't even know what part I'm on anymore. It doesn't matter. I'm really down to fine-tuning two lists. Either this Doombull list with the level 4 or my Beast Lord Herdstone spam list. So another name for this game is How to Do Everything Wrong and Still Be Okay. So lots of twists and turns. This would be one of the few games where I specifically say you may want to go ahead and finish it. Don't cut it early. So most of my pictures were blurry. I don't know what my deal was. So this picture was actually taken after Beastman turn 1, but you can tell we kind of set up in a meeting engagement format. And it's the same list he played in the previous game. So he's got a Herald in every unit, and of course the great Bloodthirster. And I've got my Doombull with the typical build. 1-up rerollable armor save gives him extra attacks. Other Trickster Shard, which is just wonderful against demons. The Always Strikes First Sword. I've got a level 4 Great Bray-Shaman. He doesn't have anything on him because I really can't afford the points for my Lord allocations because the Doombull takes up so many. I've got a Wargore with the +1 Strength banner, and then my Bestigors have the Standard of Discipline. And the units themselves, you can kind of just see what they are. So I already screwed up into deployment, allowing his Fleshhounds to get into my flank, where my I kind of thinking this Gore herd would be able to charge the Fleshhounds, but he was able to get outside their charge arc. So fail number 1 in the game. On Beastman turn 2, I go ahead and well, I'll show my charges in just a second. But you see, I fly the Harpies up to block 1 unit of Bloodletters because they have some kind of magic item that gives them 3 dice on their first charge, and I'm really worried that he'll take his Blood Crushers and the Bloodletters into my Bestigors. Because if he does, he's gonna just kill the Bestigors outright. If the Blood Crushers come in alone to the Bestigors, I think ultimately he'll win that. But all those Strength 6 attacks with their rerolls to hit, I think will really weaken the Blood Crusher unit and allow me to take care of him later on in the game with something else. So I felt it was worth the sacrifice of the Harpies to make sure that Bestigors were able to get that combat one-on-one. Here on the right-hand side, my thinking was he was going to charge me next turn. There was nothing I could do about it, so I went ahead and charged in, which was just a huge mistake. What I should have done is marched up and angled it so that when he charges, if he wins, he goes away from the combat rather than towards the combat. But my plan was to go up here, take my Great Bray-Shaman, turn him into a low-level transformation of Khorne. The dragons, I'm finding, are actually really nice in some situations because it's so hard to wound them. They've got armor saves. I think one of the lower-level ones has a regen save. And then, you still get 7 attacks, and you get a breath weapon, and he can save because he displaces Gore models. There'll be some Bloodletters that have to attack the dragon. So overall, I think that was my hope to be able to carry it off. The problem, of course, is when I went in there in the magic phase, I threw 6 dice at it, I got it, and he just used a Dispel Scroll. So, duh. Felt kind of dumb. Here on the right, I took the Chariot into the Fleshhounds. My Chariot doesn't have a chance. I'm hoping just to hold him up a little bit, maybe do a wound or 2. And after combat, I thought, wow, if you're dumb enough, you can make the game end by turn 2. I mean, his Bloodletters, look at the Bloodletters. I killed 1 of them. 1. So he totally thrashed that unit, beat him in combat, ran him down. My Great Bray-Shaman's off the table, and he's set up for a flank charge into my Minotaurs on his turn. It really could not have gone worse. The Chariot survived, so that was okay. But at this point, my opponent and I was pretty frustrated with myself just being so dumb. And my opponent and I are both saying, that's probably the game right there. Demon's turn 2. He charges the Bloodletters and the Bloodthirster into my Minotaurs, and that is not going to go well. Bloodletters on the left charge my Harpies, and the Blood Crushers charge the Bestigors. So when all's said and done, the most important one on the right, you can see that he only killed, I think he only did 2 wounds to a Minotaur. It was crazy. I lost a Minotaur because my Standard Bearer died when we fled. But otherwise, he really didn't do too many wounds to him. My Doombull and the Greater Demon, the Bloodthirster, we got into a challenge and traded wounds, 1 wound each. So that was okay. But he just had so much combat res, he beat me in combat. And that's the game right there. When I broke, I had 2 dice. His Bloodthirster had 3 dice. He had Swift Stride, and I got away from him. So he should have had the game right there, but as it sits, I was able to get away. I think I have a decent chance of rallying, and then we can at least continue fighting. If you look on the left, I was really, really disappointed with the Bestigors. He killed about almost half my unit. I did 2 wounds to him, and I don't remember how that happens. But I have 13 attacks, re-rolling to hit, I believe, wounding on 2s, and he'd have a 5-up, 5-up. Yeah, I don't know. I was very disappointed with how the Bestigors performed. So, Beastman turn 3, the Minotaurs rallied, which was nice. I took my Gore Herd into his unit of Bloodletters, and I'm very confident I can win that. Being Strength 4 and just having so many models just really, really, really helps. And of course, the Bestigors are still plugging away with the Blood Crushers. I'm really worried about that now. I mean, I always kind of thought that he would win that, but I needed him to win it and only have a couple models left. And the way it looks now is he's just going to wipe up that unit. If you look too at the very top, his Flesh Hounds are still in combat with my Chariot, but that's not going to last very long. The Bloodletters are going to have to charge my Harpies, or if nothing else, they won't be able to charge my Minotaurs. And so, if he comes in with his Bloodthirster, at least I can deal with him one-on-one, but I can't handle another dual charge to that unit. So after combat, I don't know what's going on with the Bestigors. When they had everything going for them, they did 2 wounds, and now when I had very few guys left and half the number of attacks, because I'm always strikes last, they did 5 wounds. I don't know, but I appreciated him finally doing something in this fight. The Gore Herd with the +1 Strength banner, they're handling the Bloodletter unit very nicely on their own. And on his turn, he of course charges. So the Harpies take 1 for the team, which I appreciate. His general comes in solo against my unit. If you look at those markers on my unit, I don't have any frenzy markers, of course, because I just fled. I have 2 wounds on a Minotaur, and I have 1 wound on my Doombull. When combat's done, the Bestigors didn't do any more wounds, of course, because they were dead before they got to strike. My Gore Herd, it's being whittled down, but look at his Bloodletters. They're really whittled. So this is Demon turn 3. So my thinking is, on Beastman turn 4, I should finish off the Bloodletter unit and reform to face the Blood Crushers, so that at least I don't take a charge in the flank. And over here, we got in a challenge again with my Doombull took a wound, I believe, or not, but he put 2 wounds on his general, so I was thrilled with that. His general's sitting on 2 wounds, and that's tough because all he has to do is have a round where he doesn't do a lot of wounds to me, and I'm winning just through static combat res, and with a bad roll, he's going to pop. So I'm actually a little bit hopeful right there. You can see that he reformed his Bloodletters to charge into the flank or rear of my Gore Horde, because he figures he needs the help there more than he needs it with his general, and of course his Flesh Hounds are available to help the general. So, this was so nice. This is the end of Beastman turn 4. The Gore Herd finished off the Bloodletters like I thought. They turned and faced the Blood Crushers, and I think I can take him. He's only got 5 wounds sitting there, and I've got a lot of Strength 4 attacks. If you look at the top, my Doombull didn't even beat him through combat res. He just did 2 wounds to his Bloodthirster. And yeah, I was mistaken last time. He's still sitting on 1 wound only. The Bloodthirster was never able to get a wound on him. So basically, he has a 1-up rerollable. So with the Bloodthirster Strength 6, he's basically 4-up rerollable. And I was just getting lucky, just making saves. So I was thrilled about that. There was a big part of me that wanted to reform in a Congo line so that my Doombull could be in front, and if he charged me, he would have to do allocate attacks on the Doombull only. But the problem is, 1, I couldn't figure out how to do it legally, keeping my center the same, and 2, doing it so that he wouldn't get a flank charge on me. And 3, I really didn't want his Bloodletters charging the flank of that the Gore Herd. Matter of fact, if he'd have charged the rear of him, I probably would have fled through the Blood Crushers. So, Yeah, that's what that looks like. So I'm just inviting him to charge in. If he does, that's going to be tough. Probably lose the Minotaur unit. So he charges, like thought he would. And of course, the game's going fast at this point because there's no magic phase on either side. There's no shooting. We're just fighting it out. He charges in, does, what, 6 wounds to my Minotaurs. And the good news is all my attacks by the time I got to fight, they were all allocated on the Bloodletters. And we cut them down by a bit, maybe half. Just left the dogs alone, so any popping that was done was through static combat res. But look at the markers tallying up on my Minotaurs. So they're base 3, extra hand weapon 4. Now they have 3 frenzy markers. The problem is there's only 4 wounds left on them. I have 2 wounds on one guy already, so he only has 1 wound left, and the other guy, of course, only has 3 wounds. So I really think the Minotaurs themselves are going to die, but as soon as they do, all his attacks have to go on my Doombull, and he likely is going to save most of them, and those just give him extra attacks. And he's already at 5 plus 3, so he gets deadly. Over here, after he charged in, yeah, I mean, we did all but 1 wound on his Herald. So now the Horde formation wasn't doing me any good, so I reformed to give myself ranks, and I know I'm going to win this. There's no way I'm not that battle. And over here, look at that. I think I skipped a picture because I think on one turn his Fleshhounds got out of combat when he killed the rest of my Minotaurs, and so on his next turn, Demons 5, he charged into the flank. And I was actually loving it. Please, charge in. Do all those attacks to me because I'm still on a 3-up rerollable. And I have 5 wounds. I can absorb a couple wounds before it's going to hurt me. And they just give me more attacks. I'm already at 9 attacks. So he went to town allocating all his attacks on the Bloodletters, just tore them up. And then, yeah, the Gore Horde ended up taking out the last Blood Crusher. My Doombull just went to town, just killed everything around him, and he has 1 Fleshhound left, sitting on 1 wound, staring down at a Doombull that's capping out now at 10 attacks. I mean, he's Doombull's nasty. So yeah, we just called it at that because basically after 1 more round of combat, he was gonna have nothing on the table. I had my Doombull, my Battle Standard Bearer, and the points for my Horde of Gore. So it ended up being just a really bloody game, but what a turnaround. I mean, making that one flee move where I was able to get away from his Bloodthirster and his Bloodletters was everything. Because if it wasn't for that was the game right there. And getting away, yeah, having him go mano-a-mano with the Bloodthirster and come out on top was just awesome. So, yeah, don't know what to think about that. I like that I was able to finally get the matchups that I wanted once everything kind of slowed down on the right-hand side. My Harpies slowed up 2 of his units, and so my Gore Horde was able to take on 1 unit at a time. Was very nice. But overall, the Doombull, I think, saved the day. That's it. Hope you enjoyed it.